Welcome everyone to Vegan Meal Prep 101. I am Kai Luzinski, the founder and director of Project Animal Freedom, and I am so pleased tonight to introduce Tiffany Scott, who is not only Project Animal Freedom's Mom of the Year, but also a beloved PAF STL team member and potentially quite soon a PAF Global Board member. So Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know you've put a lot of work into this presentation, and I'm really excited to hear it, and I know everyone else here is as well. So without further ado, it's your turn. So go ahead and lead this meeting.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyle. And hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm super excited to get started with Vegan Meal Prep 101. So I want to just share some tips and strategies to help make your veganuary a success. Tonight, we're going to help you identify your why for becoming vegan, how to make the transition easier if you're not vegan, and how to help you stay committed. To understand the basics of plant-based nutrition, learn how to meal prep with ease, veganize the foods that you already know and love, budget and grocery shop confidently. And before we jump in, I'm going to share a little bit about me. So here is my beautiful blended family. I am a mom of 8. And of course, as Kyle said, Project Animal Freedom's Mom of the Year, which is a big honor. My vegan journey was in the making for 7 years. I grew up eating a traditional diet and continued to do so until my 30s. At that time, I had the pronounced desire to make a change. My soul was not aligned with the standard American diet, and I decided to pursue vegetarianism. Giving up meat was not a hard thing to do. For me, the biggest fear was losing cheese and ice cream. I lived in that fear for a few years until I decided to take the vegan plunge. And here I stand 4 years later, and I couldn't be happier. All that I've learned over the past 4 years, I will share with you this evening in approximately 75 minutes or less. I do want to give a big shout out to my husband, my oldest daughter, and my son, Giovanni, because they are taking part in Veganuary. And so far, they're doing an amazing job. It's not easy being a vegan minority in a majority non-vegan household. But I view each day as an opportunity to introduce new vegan meals that someone will like and grow to love. And I look forward to preparing the vegan meals that are so good that they honestly don't even mind eating. So I plant vegan seeds of love every day and patiently wait to see what the future holds. So now we're going to start debunking some myths. So many people believe that becoming vegan will be difficult. It'll cause a protein deficiency. It'll be time consuming, restrictive, or boring, and it'll be expensive. But in reality, it is truly what you make it. And it can be easier than you think to find your way or find your why for becoming vegan and commit to the journey. It's also fun to learn the basics of plant-based nutrition. It can be an enjoyable and therapeutic experience to meal prep. It can also be exciting to veganize your favorite foods. And it can also be cost effective with budgeting and meal planning. So why do people become vegan? Ethical and animal welfare is one of the top reasons. Opposing cruelty. Many feel it's wrong to exploit animals for food, clothing, and other products, especially given the conditions in factory farming and slaughterhouses. Animal rights. It's a belief that animals, as sentient beings, have a right to live free from human use and exploitation. There are health benefits that usually come in second. That includes disease prevention. A well-planned vegan diet may lower risk for heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers. Weight management is also a goal associated with becoming vegan and the health benefits. It often leads to weight loss due to lower calorie and higher fiber intake in the diet. Improved digestion and energy. Some people experience better digestion and increased energy levels, and I can definitely attest to that as well. Environmental impact is also a big factor. Climate change. Animal agriculture is a significant contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, deforestation, and water use, which vegans aim to reduce. Resource conservation. Vegan diets generally require less land and water than diets heavy in animal products. Some other reasons are world hunger, concerns about feeding grain to livestock instead of people, spiritual and religious beliefs. Some faiths or philosophies promote abstaining from animal products, and social and personal growth. Discovering delicious vegan food, connecting with shared values, and fostering a deep bond with nature are also really good reasons too. So I'm going to delve a little further into the ethical reasons in animal rights welfare and share some statistics and facts about that. So this is consistently the top motivation cited by people who adopt a vegan lifestyle. In a global survey of people trying Veganuary, about 47% said that animal welfare was their main reason for trying veganism. A study surveying vegans and vegetarians found that 83% cited animal welfare among the reasons for following a vegan and vegetarian diet. In a large worldwide poll of 8,500 plus respondents, nearly 90% of people who went vegan said animal welfare was the key motivator. Smaller studies have also shown majorities of vegans citing ethical reason as a primary driver. These findings support the idea that many people adopt veganism out of concern for sentient beings and animal rights. Health benefits. So many people also cite health benefits as a reason to go vegan, though this trend tends to be less frequently the primary motivator factor than ethics. In the Veganuary survey, 20% of participants said health was their main reason for trying veganism. A German study found that 22% of vegans reported health reasons as their main motivation. Other research indicates that the personal well-being and health motives like improved nutrition, weight, or chronic disease concerns are common additional reasons for veganism alongside of the ethical concerns. Health benefits of plant-based diets more broadly have been supported by nutrition research. For example, associations with lower risk of heart disease, improved cholesterol, and better weight management. Those specifics vary by study. So environmental impact is another major reason people choose vegan diets. In some surveys, 14 to 19% of people cited that environment is their main motivation for trying veganism. Other research finds a substantial share of respondents also list environmental protection as an important factor alongside of ethics and health. A broader research on diet and climate shows that animal agriculture is a notable global source of greenhouse gas emissions, contributing to about 14.5% of global emissions. Plant-based diets are often promoted for reducing carbon footprint, land use, and pollution relative to heavy meat diets. So what is your why? So the inquiring and very cute veggies would like to know, what's your why? I'm sure that you can most certainly relate to the reasons and statistics that were shared tonight. If you know your why, we are thrilled to celebrate you. If you are still finding your why, please know that Project Animal Freedom is here to support you. We invite you to take part in monthly Project Animal Freedom events and seek mentorships from our amazing members that have been where you are and who can help make the vegan journey a truly enjoyable one. So understanding the basics of plant-based nutrition. or plant-forward eating patterns. These focus on foods primarily from plants. This includes not only fruits and vegetables, but also nuts, seeds, oils, whole grains, legumes, and beans. A common misconception concerning plant-based diets is that the consumer is vegan, when in reality, there are 4 different types of plant-based diets. So the semi-vegetarian or flexitarian includes eggs, dairy foods, and occasionally meat, poultry, fish, and seafood. Pescatarian includes eggs, dairy foods, fish, and seafood, but no meat or poultry. Vegetarian, also sometimes referred to as lacto-ovo-vegetarian, includes eggs and dairy foods, but no meat, poultry, fish, or seafood. And of course, vegan is no animal foods or byproducts at all. So what's the difference between a plant-based diet and a whole food plant-based diet? Well, the main difference is that plant-based means eating mainly plants, but can still include meat, dairy, and processed foods, while whole food plant-based diets are stricter. They focus on unprocessed or minimally processed plant foods, such as fruits, veggies, whole grains, and legumes, and excluding or severely limiting refined sugars, oils, and highly processed vegan substitutes. Essentially, whole food plant-based removes the junk that can sneak into a general plant-based diet, emphasizing health-promoting whole foods. So again, the plant-based diet, the focus is going to be primarily plant foods, reducing or eliminating animal products, meat, dairy, and eggs. It includes and can incorporate processed vegan foods, refined grains such as white bread, sugar, and oils. And it's more flexible, often adopted for health or environmental reasons, but it doesn't guarantee healthiness. So the whole food plant-based diet, its focus is whole, unrefined, or minimally processed plant foods. It excludes meat, dairy, eggs, and highly processed items like oils, bleached flour, refined sugar, and most packaged vegan snacks. Core foods include, fruit, vegetables, whole grains, brown rice and oats, legumes such as beans, lentils, and peas, nuts, and seeds. The emphasis is health-focused, aiming to avoid foods that aren't in their natural state. Think of it this way. A bag of potato chips is plant-based because it's made from potatoes, but not whole food plant-based. A whole apple is both plant-based and whole food plant-based. So that now brings us to the great protein debate. It's a question that vegans and whole food plant-based eaters hear all the time. Where do you get your protein? Given the abundance of misinformation on the subject, concern over protein deficiency is understandable, but totally unfounded in science. So what is protein exactly? So we'll start with the basic definition. Protein is one of 3 macronutrients our bodies use for energy. The other 2 macronutrients are carbohydrates and fat. Protein is made up of 20 individual building blocks called amino acids. Amino acids are vital to our bodies, necessary for building and repairing cells, creating enzymes and antibodies, also performing other essential functions. Our bodies can synthesize most amino acids on our own, but there are 9 that we cannot synthesize, and these are the essential amino acids that we easily get from food. So how much protein do we really need? For the general population, getting 10 to 15% of daily calories from protein is sufficient. This is true even for people who lead an active lifestyle. Government issued recommendations for protein intake have varied over the years. Currently, the U.S. government's protein RDA is zero point 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. The WHO, I should say, World Health Organization, on the other hand, recommends about 0.66 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So, for example, a 140-pound person, the US RDA translates to about 50 grams of protein per day. If that person consumes 2,000 calories a day, 50 grams of protein is exactly 10% of those total calories. So, how much protein do most of us get? Science shows that most of us already get more protein than we need. In 2013, the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, I cannot talk, I'm sorry, published the largest study to date comparing the nutrient intake of more than 71,000 non-vegetarians, vegetarians, and vegans. This study found that on average, vegetarians and vegans get 70% more protein than they need every day. So that's 70 plus grams, while non-vegetarians get even more than that at almost 80 grams. I found that to be very intriguing. Without even trying, we're most likely getting more protein than we need. Whether you're a vegan, vegetarian, or omnivore, protein deficiency is almost exclusively seen in people suffering from a calorie deficiency. In these cases, the concern would be getting more calories and more of all nutrients, not just proteins. So here I'm featuring a chart that you guys can kind of take a look at, but this is plant-based protein sources. So you can get all of the protein you need simply by eating a whole food plant-based diet. You don't need to expend any extra effort to ensure you're getting enough protein or any other macronutrient or micronutrient. Whole plant foods that have constant or high concentrations of protein are beans, that include soybeans and tofu, and tempeh, lentils and other legumes, bulgur, nuts, and seeds. Vegan ultramarathoner Matt Frazier wrote in the No Meat Athlete cookbook that it's not just tofu, beans, and nuts that pack the protein in a plant-based diet. Indeed, just about everything else in whole food plant-based diets, grains, veggies, everything except most fruits has a protein content at or above 12 to 15% of total calories. Put it all together and you get a diet that provides you with plenty of protein, even as an athlete. So now that brings us to budgeting and grocery shopping. So PETA offers excellent resources on vegan budgeting and grocery shopping. I've listed the articles used on the works cited slides at the very end of the presentation, and please feel free to use the web links for their reference. Saving some extra money is as easy as cutting out animal-derived foods. Eating healthy and vegan is simple on a budget, and over time, the money you save with each trip to the grocery store by swapping out cruelly obtained and expensive foods for cheap vegan ones will all add up. So here is a list of local well-known stores in the St. Louis-St. Charles region. The stores are grouped together based on price compatibility, descending from the lowest prices to the highest. I also read a very interesting article on creating a budget for shopping at the dollar stores that is also listed on the Works Cited page. And I was quite impressed with the number of vegan items that are available at local dollar stores. This is a game changer and can definitely give more leeway to the non-negotiable food costs that are at your higher priced local stores as well, and or specialty stores too. So here are some tips for budgeting. You're going to want to stock up on staples during sales. So, frozen vegetables like spinach, broccoli, green beans, and mixed vegetables can stay preserved for a long time and can be added to just about any meal. Uncooked beans and legumes are also cheap, versatile, and protein rich. Uncooked pastas and grains can last for a long time in the cupboard too. When canned foods are on sale, essentials like beans, lentils, crushed tomatoes, and chickpeas are great to have on hand and can be used in a variety of dishes. Shop in bulk sections of grocery stores and or health food stores, or you can try your hand at bulk stores such as Costco and Sam's. I also recommend downloading grocery store apps. Many major grocery store chains have these apps that will help you find the best deals as well. And a lot of times you can actually look up ingredients and so forth too, and you can kind of plan your meals and budget based on what the prices are. And I'm sure those are usually updated with sale prices as they happen and go on sale too. I also recommend taking advantage of rewards points. I know it seems like every store that we go to, they're saying, are you a reward member or so forth? But I find that most of the time, this is really, truly helpful because you either get percentages off or you will have points that add up that will give you, dollar amounts per every amount that you spend and that you can apply that towards the things that you're purchasing. So it's really good. And it doesn't usually cost you anything. You just need a phone number and that's it. And then you can start saving money. So definitely take advantage of those programs if you have not done so thus far. And then, of course, planning your meals. You can certainly jot down dinner ideas a few days ahead of time. You can make lists to buy things for the week or month if you're really organized. Knowing what you need in advance will help reduce expensive impulse purchasing. It will also help you to stop eating out. And eating out is great, but you don't want to do it frequently because you're definitely paying a higher cost for food that is prepared, and you're definitely paying for the overhead of that. So, as tempting as it is, try to eat out only on special occasions and as a treat, or if you want to have certain days of the week that you plan for it, that's okay too. And then also making enough to have leftovers is great. You do not want to be afraid of the freezer because leftovers are great the next day, but many things from soups to pastas can be frozen and kept even longer. This practice is great for meal prepping. So when you cook in a large quantity, this allows you to meal prep for 3 to 4 days. So what should I buy and how do I prepare it? These are actually two of the most commonly asked questions that I have friends that inquire about or people who are new to just budgeting and veganism and so forth. So I want to share with you a piece of advice that I found to be very helpful for myself and for others. So Google and YouTube can be a very good ally during your vegan journey. Not only can Google help you with basic ideas for shopping and meal planning, but YouTube has a plethora of videos demonstrating how to make delicious vegan recipes. And next, I'll show you a list of must-have ingredients for your vegan pantry. Of course, you can omit ingredients that you know that you won't use or you don't use generally. And then you can definitely focus on the ones that you love. You can tailor that list to your cooking style and preferences, whether you enjoy hearty comfort foods, fresh, vibrant flavors, or just quick, simple meals. So, staple 1, grains and legumes. They're the foundation of many vegan dishes, providing protein, fiber, carbohydrates, and vitamins and minerals. So very important staple. For rice, I recommend brown rice. There's nothing wrong with white rice, jasmine or basmati, especially if you like aromatics. Each brings a unique texture and flavor. So depending on the dish that you're looking to create, you can certainly find the perfect rice to go with it. Quinoa is a complete protein. It's perfect for salads, bowls, and even side dishes. So it's definitely flexible, fits everywhere, I think. Oats, they're great for breakfast or savory dishes like oat-based veggie burgers. So you can even get creative. I personally use oats in my smoothies. So I find that to be delicious and it keeps me fuller longer as well. Pasta, that is absolutely one of my favorite things to eat. I do try to stick to whole grain varieties because it adds nutrients and fiber. So you get two good things with pasta and health benefits. You can't beat it. Lentils, they pack a nutritional punch and take on the flavor of whatever they're cooked with. This is what makes them so amazing. So you can try them with a do it yourself taco seasoning. One of my favorite things to do with lentils is to make a lentil chili, and I also make a lentil sloppy joe. That is amazing. So there's lots of things you can use lentils for as well. Chickpeas are also very versatile. You can roast them with a little paprika for a tasty snack. You can make your own hummus. You can create a protein packed curry. I usually put them in soups, different things like that too. It's just really good. Also in the summertime with chickpeas and even all year round, honestly, I love to make a chickpea chicken salad, chickpea tuna salad. Amazing. So it's something you can make quickly. You can get a few servings that can stretch out over a few days. Very good, very versatile. And then, of course, beans. Who can forget about beans? We love those. It's a great source of fiber, protein, and other nutrients. They're perfect in chilies and soups. So definitely a good one. If you have these things in your pantry, you can't go wrong. You'll be set for a while, and they are definitely easy on the wallet. So the next thing is nuts and seeds. Some of my favorites are almonds, cashews, and walnuts, but of course, you know that there are many, many different types of nuts. So many that I probably couldn't list them all, but whatever your favorite is what I say go for. You can grab a handful straight from the bag. You can add to baked goods or blend them into creamy sauce. If anyone has ever tried cashew sauce or cheese, you know exactly what I mean. Absolutely amazing. I use cashews for nacho cheese sauce, and I also make a really awesome fettuccine with cashews. So love it. It's very versatile as well. Chia seeds and flax seeds are definitely good to have on hand. They're ideal for making vegan eggs. So with an added bonus of omega-3. So if you like to bake, it's really good too. I also find myself, I personally love to make a chia seed pudding with the non-dairy yogurt. I make that. It's wonderful. I add a little of the date syrup to it. I kind of cook up some fresh apples as a topping. You can put vegan friendly granola on top. So many different ways that you could use seeds. They're amazing. Pumpkin and sunflower seeds, perfect as a topping for salads, soups, and oatmeal even. And also too, I just keep a bag of pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds in my little snack bag in the car. They're just great as a snack, just as they are. So they're really good too. Tahini is something that I learned about a little later on in my vegan journey. It's a sesame seed paste that's key for making delicious dressings. It's also really good for sauces. So I found that putting tahini in different sauces is really amazing. It tastes wonderful too. So staple number 3 is going to be your plant-based proteins. So it's a crucial component of a balanced vegan diet, and a few staples can make all the difference in the world. So tofu is going to be a protein-rich ingredient that takes on flavors and textures beautifully. There are so many things that you can make with tofu, just amazing. I recently tried a tofu salmon recipe. It was really good. One of my favorite things to make is what I like to call my air fried chicken tofu. So I cut it up in little cubes and season up really well, almost just like a fried chicken. I use a little cornstarch to give it that perfect crunch, and it is just absolutely amazing. The kids love it. So they usually ask for that even over their regular chicken nuggets. So I'm really happy about that. So that means it's good, guys. And then, of course, tempeh is really good. It's made from fermented soybeans. Tempeh is perfect for stir fries and it's really good for sandwiches. Sometimes using this for bacon. I think Light Life actually has a tempeh bacon that's really good too. Seitan is a wheat based protein with a meaty texture, ideal for vegan roasts and saute dishes. So, meatloaf is definitely one of the things that I go to for using this type of particular product and a recipe. Nutritional yeast is awesome. My husband just actually learned of nutritional yeast in Veganuary, so he likes it on his sketties and different things to give it cheesy flavor. It's a really savory powder. It's perfect for sprinkling on popcorn, which is one of my favorite ways to use it. And it also gives sauces that cheesy flavor too. So, very good things to have. Now, if you are a baker like I am, some of the baking essentials that you're going to want to keep in your pantry are flour, all-purpose whole wheat. I actually have almond flour as well that I use for certain things. It covers most of your cooking and baking needs. So, and they're really decent price. Almond flour can be a little expensive, but I found that Aldi has a decent price on that too. So, of course, your baking powders and baking soda. It's just some of the essential vegan staples for any pantry. Sweeteners. So I mentioned date syrup previously. I love the Date Lady brand. I usually get that from Amazon, but all 100% natural maple syrup, I keep that in the refrigerator. I also use agave nectar. They have vegan honey that you can order online. Sometimes they have at specialty stores. And coconut sugar keeps things really sweet. So those are nice staples to have too. And of course, cocoa powder. It makes the perfect hot chocolate. It's great for desserts. I personally use it in a smoothie. I love my chocolate banana peanut butter smoothie. So I got to have the cocoa powder for that at all times. So herbs, spices, and seasoning. So we're going to have your basics like your salt and pepper. No pantry is complete without it. Herbs and spices that I like to stock up on are basics like garlic powder, onion powder. I love smoked paprika. Regular paprika is good too. Oregano and parsley's. And what's really awesome too is that you can find these at your local Dollar Tree too. And they are cheap and you can stock up on it. And it gives your food such flavor. So you never have to have a boring dish when you have enough herbs and spices. Soy sauce and tamari, it adds an umami flavor. I actually have an umami spice powder that I get from Target. That's really good too. It's perfect for stir fries, marinades, and soups. Vinegar has multiple purposes. Now, you may find that you do some cooking with like apple cider, balsamic, rice vinegar. It offers distinct flavor profiles for dressings and sauces, but I also too want to share a trick with you guys. So when I'm actually cleaning my fruits, I use white vinegar, white distilled vinegar, and then I also use like a baking soda. And so when you combine it together, it gives this wonderful little fizzy, clean feel to your fruits. It gets all that extra gunk off of there and keeps it nice and good without having to use any type of harmful products. And it gets a lot of that preservative off too. So that's a good thing to remember to keep vinegar on hand for. So staple number 6 is going to be your oils and your fats. So they can elevate your dishes while providing healthy fats, which is always good. Olive oil is the heart-healthy oil. It's best for sautéing and using for salad dressings. I actually sometimes just use it in pastas and over baked potatoes as well when I don't want to use like the vegan butter. Flaxseed oil is full of omegas and perfect for drizzling over greens. Avocado oil is the best for high heat cooking. So if you're going to be frying something or using something that you know you're going to be on the skillet with, it has a wonderful high heat temperature. So it's really good to keep that on hand too. So staple number 7 is going to be your canned and jarred goods. So canned tomatoes and vegetables. I keep things on hand like crushed diced tomatoes, whole tomatoes, stewed tomatoes for soups, sauces, and stews. Canned fruits. The one thing that I do want to point out is that you want to stay away from anything that says in heavy syrup. You want to look for canned items that say 100% juice or no sugar added. That is going to give you your best and healthiest options for canned. And then, of course, keeping vegetable broth on hand. That's a great base for soups and a flavorful liquid for cooking your grains. I use that way as well. So spreads, some of our favorites from childhood, especially me. I always say don't underestimate the versatility of spreads. Hummus is great to have around, and it also save extra money. You can make your own hummus. It's pretty easy and fun too. So peanut butter and or almond butter are two of my favorites. They go great on toast and oatmeal, fruit like apple slices, or vegetables, even in different sauces. If you or someone in your household has a peanut or nut allergy, sun butter is also a great substitute that's usually available at local stores. So that way you don't miss out on that nut butter taste and flavor. You just don't have the dangerous parts to go with it. Jam is also perfect for toast or bagels. And of course, my all-time favorite, PB&J. As I said before, hummus is really good to have around. It pairs perfectly with fresh veggies, crackers. I personally love hummus and tortilla chips with a little side of salsa. It's amazing. It also goes great on your wraps and your sandwiches as bases. It's just a good thing. I found nothing wrong with hummus. So hopefully you all are fans of it too. If not, definitely make sure to try it out. So moving on to or away from the pantry, these are also some staple items that I would recommend just having in the house. Your breads, fresh and frozen fruits and vegetables. Breads, you're going to want to stick to whole grain white or whole wheat breads for the best nutritional value. White sandwich breads have usually little to no fiber, and it's just kind of like empty calories. Multi-grain breads, like ancient grains, sourdough breads. Sourdough is one of my absolute favorites. They're very tasty and nutritionally sound. I have to tell you, sourdough makes a mean grilled cheese sandwich. So I love using sourdough for grilled cheese. Bananas, I find, are a staple that I absolutely have to have in the house because they make wonderful additions to any breakfast. You can buy a bunch to top your morning oats. You can freeze them and blend them into breakfast smoothies while also using like frozen mixed berries. You can actually, with your berries, keep some fresh, freeze some of them, or just buy your berries already frozen. For bananas, you can even wait until they're brown and spotty, and you can use them in banana bread, pancakes, or any other banana flavored baked goods. When it comes to vegetables, a large frozen bag of them, such as spinach or broccoli, can be added to almost anything. I love that. I also use fresh spinach for my what I call copycat smoothie king lemon ginger spinach smoothie. It's really good. And then, of course, veggie blends pair well with stir fries, pasta, many other dishes. You just can't go wrong. You can use any vegetable as a side or incorporate it into something else too for your meal. So here is the fun part. Veganizing the food that you already know and love. So here is a website for PETA. It's howtogovegan.peta.org. Here I found some amazing resources. So I definitely encourage you to look it up. And over the next couple of slides, I will share with you what some of those look like. PETA offers an amazing list of meat and dairy-free substitutes, or I should say dairy substitutes, for foods that you already know and love. You can find these items at your local grocery store. I should say maybe most of them. Availability of all products are not the same in all states. I found that, Morningstar makes a specific item that none of the local grocers carry. I've also found out too that, and this is how I know this, which is pretty awesome. Your local grocery store, like more so your Deerbergs and your Schnucks, I know all these have specific contracts that they utilize for where they get their goods from. But you can actually put in a request for them to order certain items at your local grocery stores. I've had luck with this at Schnucks and Deerbergs. And I've actually found out, as I said before, that some products are not always available in certain states. So when I found a product that I really wanted to try, I went to Schnucks, I went to Deerbergs. They were really willing to get it. The manager took the time, even inquired about it, but it just wasn't available in Missouri. So then I found that sometimes online purchasing options are available. So sometimes either via Amazon or like the manufacturer website, they may be willing to, ship on a dry ice or something like that, overnight something to you. But again, it just kind of depends on how far you want to take it and how bad you want the product. But those options are definitely there. So I wanted you to be aware about inquiring at your local grocers. All right. So vegan meat options. This is a pretty nice list. And I do believe majority of the items we do have here in St. Louis and St. Charles that you can get at those grocers. PETA actually broke it up into cow-free beef, pig-free pork, and then, of course, your chicken and turkeys and things like that. I cannot say that I've tried everything on this list, but I have tried a good majority of them, and I found them to be very good. Again, it just kind of depends on what you want to spend, what you're willing to spend, where you want to set your budget. A lot of these items I have found at Target, I found at Walmart, and they've been a significantly reduced price than your local Schnucks or Deerbergs. They tend to be a little higher. So if you're going to try to go for some of these items, I would recommend Target and Walmart. So some of my favorite vegan meat substitutes are Morningstar chicken patties and nuggets. That's kind of my go-to. Impossible burgers, we absolutely love here in the house, and the Gardein fish fillet. I don't know that that's on here, but I just wanted to tell you guys about that. It is amazing. My kids actually like the Gardein fish fillet, and myself too, better than the actual real fish. So definitely make sure you try that. I think where I've gotten that previously was from Schnucks. So I'm not sure if Deerbergs has it, but Schnucks usually has it. So definitely give that a try if you haven't. And then, of course, the next thing are the non-dairy delights. So, of course, as I said before, cheese and ice cream are big in my little vegan world. So I absolutely love Chow and Follow Your Heart cheeses. So Delicious brand also has really good yogurts and ice creams. So again, you can find these at most of your local grocers. Same thing with Target and so forth, Walmart. I found a lot of these things here. I am a coffee drinker. I don't know who else is a coffee drinker, but I do want to share that Starbucks makes some really good oat milk and almond milk creamers. Silk has an amazing maple brown sugar that I absolutely love. So they've got some really good options here where I think years ago it wasn't so much. It was just your plain almond milk that you'd have to kind of flavor yourself. So they're definitely coming around. So good options are now available. Okay, so now we're going to talk about meal prepping with ease. So I've got 3 good tips here that I'm going to share some insight on. So you're going to always want to start with a plan. For some, meal planning just simply means unwrapping a frozen veggie burger that they thought about the morning of or the day before. It doesn't have to be real extensive. Then you've got other individuals who, pursue the local farmers market, health food store, supermarket, and they plan a week's worth of healthy meals. So whatever best fits your lifestyle is what I recommend trying to stick to. If you fall into the latter category, or if you want to, these simple tips can help you streamline the amount of time that you spend on meal preparation. And I know for a lot of us, we have really busy lives. So anything that's the most time efficient is where we want to be. So many busy cooks make meals for the week and divide them into smaller portions. This essentially means that you spend one day in the kitchen rather than 7. So you want to be sure to stock up on microwave and dishwasher safe containers before you attempt this. I found that again, Target and Walmart, you can buy a box of meal prep containers. It may be like 30 to 50 pieces in there, and they're usually like $20. So they're, again, dishwasher safe, microwavable safe. It's a good investment. And usually you can last through the year with it for the most part. You can save money in addition to animal lives if you build your meals around versatile vegan staples like those that we covered in our pantry, such as lentils, beans, rice, and other grains, pasta, tofu, fruits, and vegetables. Of course, certain foods such as fresh strawberries and spinach won't last as long as others, so you'll want to eat those first or opt for frozen varieties and versions. And if you're concerned about a particular meal going bad or getting soggy, you may just want to simply freeze it for later in the week. So variety spices things up. I've heard a lot of people say, and I've even kind of fallen into the slump myself, that, oh, well, when I meal prep 3 and 4 days, and I'm eating the same meals for lunch, the same meals for breakfast, the same dinner, and so forth. Maybe by about the 3rd day, you might kind of start to get a little bored. But I've also found, too, that you can use spice variations. So on day 1, you may have a non-spicy. Day 2, you may make it spicy. It's a way to adjust the foods where you don't make it. You make the base in the bulk, but you can kind of change the spice variety if you find yourself kind of getting bored. So, instead of cooking several different types of grains or meals, you may just want to choose 2 for the week. Spice things up by using various spices or sauces. You can get all the nutrients you need from vegan foods, but who wants to eat the same few meals every day, week after week? So varying your menu to include an array of exciting foods and make sure that meals include essential nutrients, fiber, protein, calcium, and vitamins and minerals are very important. So this is where sometimes planning out for that month helps you ensure that you have that variety, because you could find yourself kind of falling back into you're making the same thing that you just made last week, where if you put in a little bit more time, you can kind of come up with a really awesome menu that you won't repeat for the entire month. So that is very helpful, definitely. And if you're trying to lose weight or you want to make the meals last an extra day, you may want to dole out smaller portions and always focus on wholesome plant-based foods rather than processed foods. If you're trying to bulk up, you may want to split your meals into larger portions and consider having more healthy snacks, including nuts, fruit, and nut bars. And again, of course, pay attention to what the ingredients is. You do want to keep your processed things down to a minimum, but there are some really good pre-made items out here that are really healthy for you. So you just maybe have to take a little bit of time and ensure that you're buying what you really want to have and making your diet efficient for you that way. And then, of course, you're going to want to prep your prep. And the point of prepping your meals ahead of time is to save your time, money. So you're going to want to cut, peel, chop, measure everything before you turn on the oven if need be. It takes time to assemble multiple dishes at once. And the last thing that you want to do is burn a dish because you're busy cutting and cleaning the ingredients for another one. So you can save even more time by baking multiple dishes in the oven while cooking others on the stove. So that's just kind of a really good tip for prepping your prep. Um, so we actually are in the last 3 weeks of Veganuary. So we're actually coming up. This is the second week, but we're going to having 3 weeks left. And so I found that this was just absolutely amazing resource, something that we could start for next week. So PETA again has a 3-week vegan meal plan. It actually offers breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack for 7 days a week for 3 weeks. When I actually looked through the website, they have simple recipes. They seem to be tasty and cost effective. So it's really cool. I'm actually going to look into trying some of these for the remaining 3 weeks myself with the family. So I hope that you will join me if you all do not have any particular thing planned out already. This will be a good place to start in case you've just kind of been winging it. So hopefully you'll find this very helpful too. And then the last thing that I do want to share with you is my Works Cited page. So I have a couple of the other resources in the previous slides, but these particularly are the articles that I've read, pulled from. As you can see, PETA.org is my biggest research that I've utilized. They have a lot of wonderful resources. So you can actually sign up. They will send you newsletters. You could actually go onto their website, PETA.org, and you could actually type in, use the search bar to find things that are of interest. Again, just a great resource that I found to be wonderful that I'm going to really, really start utilizing myself. So, well, with that being said, it looks like we came in right about under an hour here. But I do want to give the opportunity for questions and answer sessions. So whenever you guys are ready, Kyle, I'll let you head that up.